Okay, let's start. So, any questions before we start our today's session? Any questions related to our previous sessions before we start?
Hey Gaurav, this is Raj here. I'm not sure actually last Saturday, that is your Sunday, I couldn't able to make it. But I'm just wondering, did you guys give the access to the system for, practice and other stuff? Not sure.
That you need to check with Sana and Krishna. You're asking about the system access, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yes, that Sana or Krishna, you just need to contact Sana or Krishna. They'll be able to help you out.
Perfect, okay.
Okay, so before continuing with the other practical topics, let me give you the introduction of some of the important documentations, because see, we'll continue the practical things, but at the same time, it is also very important to know where exactly the content is available from SAP S4. Because as I told you, this is a product which is keep on developing. So whatever is available today, okay, let's say, as I told you, from the core modules point of view, when you talk about materials management, sales and distribution, production planning, some of the other important components like FI, CO, most of the simplifications which were planned, they are already in place. But that is not the end, as you said, like CRM, SRM, APO, IBP, there are still a lot of areas which are going to be improved over the next 2-3 years. Okay, so how are you going to access that content? Like what exactly is being available in SAP S4HANA in the various versions? Okay, so SAP is providing two very important documents. Okay, it is not only for you to understand what exactly SAP S4HANA is, but also whenever you are going on to the project, okay, any kind of conversion project, I'll say, not the new implementation. In case of new implementation, not much helpful for the customer, but in case of the conversion projects where customers are already using SAP ECC system and they are planning now to migrate to SAP S4HANA, so before they take the decision whether they want to go for the greenfield project or the brownfield project. Greenfield means starting from scratch, and brownfield means they want to continue using their existing configuration, plus they want the simplifications in SAP S4. So instead of configuring everything from scratch, they want to continue using their existing configuration, plus they want to only perform the delta changes what are available in SAP S4. So these are the two different things. Now, when the customer is opting for the second option, where they want to continue using the existing configuration plus some delta configurations, in that case, and also in order to make the decision, let's say for example, if I'm a customer and I want to take a decision, what should I do if I move to SAP S4? Whether I start everything from scratch or I want to use my existing effort, whatever I had earlier. So in order to make that decision, it is very important for the customer to know what has been changed. Okay, till the time you will not tell the customer what impact 1610 will be having on the current ECC system, will not be able to take the decision, right? So you need to be very clear, like what are the changes in SAP S4 compared to traditional ECC system, and not only S4 is not sufficient. You need to tell him according to which version. So for example, the customers who were implementing 1511, they were looking after what has been changed in 1511 compared to ECC, EHP, let's say 7.
Hey,
Customers who will be...
Gaurav, this is Raj here. Sorry for the interruption. I think this is very important thing. Thanks for getting all of us know about this. I have a question here is like, in case if you're going a 1511 or say 1610, or I think 1709 is going to come, right?
Mm-hmm.
So see what point when a customer should really move from, a traditional 4.7 or ECC6, whatever is the versions they're currently running on. And for this S4HANA, see, being a consultant, if I was asked the same question, how would we really tell them to, how would we really convince them rather, because this is a huge investment. And as you said, if SAP is going on, keep on improving these versions and enhancing its capabilities in terms of, business operations. Now it started, as you said, the simple finance, then it is a simple logistics, going forward other features, adding enhancements to the core. So as a consultant, how would we convey this message and convince the customer to go S4HANA?
Exactly, that is the whole purpose of today's session. So not now, but definitely at the end of today's session, you'll get all your answers.
All right, okay.
Okay, so as I told you, when a customer wants to make a decision like what will be the impact on my current ECC system with SAP S4HANA if I'm planning for 1511 or maybe I'm planning for 1610, or maybe after 2 or 3 months you will again come to the requirement where the customer is asking for 1709. So how are you going to find out what are the important things, or what is the list of things which are going to be changed compared to the existing system? So there are some of the important sites available from SAP. I'll just ping you this site on the chat screen, and I'll also ask Krishna to or Sana to send this particular site to you. Okay, what is this? This is this is not a hidden site. This is this is available to each and everybody of you. This is help.sap, but this is a very important link which will help you out in each and every project wherever you will be going. Okay, so for example, as you can see here, this is nothing but SAP S4HANA on-premise edition, and this is talking about version 1511. Okay, so currently we are in version 1511 in this page, I mean. Okay, and as you know, after 1511, SAP has developed various different versions. So 1511 was the first version of SAP S4HANA on-premise edition. Okay, so if I click here, you can see after 1511, SAP has already launched these different versions. Okay, so after 1511, SAP came up with 1511 FPS 01, FPS 02, then 1610, FPS 01, and currently the latest version of SAP which is available in the market is FPS 02. And in another 1 or 2 months, we are definitely going to see one more addition here, which is 1709. Okay, so let me just give you the background of what exactly is happening. I think we already discussed it, but again, I'll like to repeat it because it will make your concepts clear. So there are two versions that we talked about, on-premise and cloud. Versions in the sense, I mean, there are two deployment options. Either you can go with on-premise or you can go with cloud. Now, in case of on-premise, the upgrades are expected every yearly. Okay, so SAP launched 1511, which was a version or upgrade which was available for year 2015. Then in 2016, SAP came up with 1610. In 2017, as we are saying, it is expected to arrive in next 1 or 2 months, that is 1709. Similarly, this will continue for next 2-3 years. So in case of on-premise edition, the versions are available every yearly. Then what are this? FPS 01 and FPS 02. So when SAP launch any kind of version, let's say SAP launched 1610, now they identified there are some kind of improvements, or there are some kind of let's say corrections which needs to be made to the base version. So they come up with FPS 01, FPS 02 with either some small additional functionalities or some corrections. Okay, it is not a very big upgrade. Like when you go from 1511 to 1610, you will be able to see a lot of new functionalities. May not be in core modules. Okay, we should not restrict in order to understand the version difference only to the core modules. Okay, there can be industry solutions, there can be add-ons, there can be the cloud-based solutions which are now supported. So I'm talking from that perspective. So when you compare 1511 and 1610, you may not be able to see much of the difference when you talk about the core modules. But when you talk about the industry-specific solutions which are supported in 1610, embedded EWM, embedded APO, you will be definitely finding a lot of different uh, uh, improvements in terms of 1610. Similarly, when 1709 will come, you will definitely see a lot of new features which are available in 1709, which are not available in 1610. But when we are talking about this FPS 01, FPS 02, these are not much changes. These are the very basic corrections or very basic features which were not released in the earlier release. When you go on to cloud, okay, so I think you understood. In case of on-premise, the upgrades are available every yearly. In case of cloud, these upgrades are available every quarterly. Okay, so after 1511, SAP came up with 1602, then they came up with 1605, then they came up with 1607 or 8, then they came up with 1609, new upgrade available. So whatever developments are going on, in case of on-premise, they are delivering that deliverables, whatever deliverables or whatever enhancements they have done in the entire year, they are delivering in the new version of on-premise. While in case of cloud, whatever developments are being done, they are delivered in every quarterly. Okay, that is the main difference. In case of on-premise, it is yearly upgrades. In case of cloud, it is the upgrades are available every quarterly. Now, that is the reason we can see here different kind of versions. Now, let's say, for example, if I am a customer and I am planning to implement SAP S4HANA. Okay, the first thing that you need to ask the customer, or maybe this is also where customer is seeking your help to decide whether I should go with 1511 or 1610. So in that case, what you need to do first is you need to come here in this particular link and find out what has been changed compared to ECC. How will you find? So I will go to 1610 rather than 1511 because now most of the customers, they are not going to go with 1511. Already the customers who are in the phase of implementing it, they might be already working on 1511, but going forward, I think most of the customers, if they are deciding today, they will go with 1610 or 1709. So for example, if I click on 1610, okay, it will load the same page for the new version. Okay, so this is 1610 and you can see there are a lot of links which are available here. Getting started, what's new, additional information for SAP Fiori Cloud, all these things are available, but most important thing that will be helpful for us as a functional consultant is this one, simplification list. Okay, the simplification list is one of the very important document that we will be using not only during the inception of the project, not only in the initial phases, but also, as I told you, in case of conversion, SAP is providing multiple tools. Okay, we'll talk about that tools in detail, but that tool is also considering the simplification list in the background. So when you use this tool, it will again call the simplification list to let you know what will be the impact on customers' business processes when they go with SAP S4HANA. Okay, so this is a very important document. This you must download and keep it somewhere so that whenever, not only in case of projects, but whenever we are talking about any particular functionality, let's say for example, if we are discussing about business partner approach, whatever we discussed till now, go through this document and try to find it out whether whatever we discussed and whatever is written in the document, is there any kind of confusion or it is clear. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just open this simplification list first of all. This document will focus on all the areas. It is not only to logistics or finance or core modules. It will focus on all the things like add-ons, industry-specific solutions, master data, transactional data, everything. Okay, so in your case, you may need to look at the subset of this document. Yeah, it is still getting loaded, Raj. Okay, now before I talk about the simplification list, there is another important document which is conversion guide. Okay, I think now this is loaded, so we'll first go here and then come to the conversion guide. Okay, so this is a simplification list that we are talking about. Okay, so this is for 1610. Now, this has been divided into, you can see it is starting with the introduction, purpose of document, okay, and this is anyways we'll discuss later. So simplification list for SAP S4HANA 1610. It is starting with the master data. You can see the first thing itself is business partner approach. Okay, so when you click on this business partner approach, you'll be able to see what exactly has been changed from business partner point of view. Okay, so what you need to do is, as I told you, whenever we are talking about any particular topic, go on to this particular page and try to understand, and you can definitely ask questions if there is something which you are not able to understand in the document. Okay, so this is most important document. If I go up and show you what else is available apart from the master data, you can see the changes in within a module like sales and distribution, what has been changed, procurement, what are the changes in the procurement, what are the changes in, if you go down, ATP functionality, what are the changes in EHS. Let me concentrate on our topics, PP. So here you will find the changes in the production planning. Okay, so for us, it will be very important to understand the changes within sales and distribution, procurement, and production planning. Okay, and as I told you, apart from this, if you go down, you'll find the changes which are available in finance also. You can see financial accounting, controlling, and the industry specific solutions you can see here. So what has been impacted from industry point of view, like banking industry, DIMP solution, automotive industry. So this will give you the complete information of what has been changed compared to ECC. Okay. Now let me talk about the conversion project. Okay, although the complete conversion process we are going to discuss towards the end of this course, because we are going to start off with the implementation project, which we already started. We already configured some company code, purchase org, we already created the master data. Now we want to start with the transactions. But once we complete that understanding, like what has been changed from logistic business processes point of view, we'll be talking about the conversion project. But today, I'm just giving you the overview, because you don't need to wait till that time to understand if the, let's say if some of you are already working with some of the customers and they have the very basic questions, like one of the questions that Raj asked. So in order to solve that answer, you'll get a proper answer today. So let's say if you are visiting a customer and customer is asking you, I want to know what is new in SAP S4HANA, one thing. Second thing is, what if I go with SAP S4HANA 1610 today, and tomorrow SAP comes up with 1709, 1808, 9, whatever it is. So in that case, what will be the impact, or what if I want to implement the latest release later on? Is it like a completely new project, or it is just like a small migration project like EHP6 to EHP7? Okay, and other thing, whether my current system is ready to migrate to SAP S4HANA or not, the first question. So in order to answer this, first of all, you need to understand what is the customer's landscape today. So for example, the first thing itself is whether the customer is using ERP 6.0 or above or below 6.0. Okay, so you must be knowing that SAP has different kind of versions. So from last 10-15 years, the customers who have implemented SAP, they definitely must have implemented SAP ERP 6.0. But the older customers who are still on classic ERP versions, that is 4.7, 5.0. Okay, so you need to divide your customers into two different areas. One is the customers who have implemented or who are currently on 6.0 or above, and second is the customers who are on below 6.0 version. Why you are differentiating? The reason is if you want to perform the conversion project, again, what is conversion? Conversion means you want to continue using your same hardware, you want to continue whatever configurations you have done, you want to use all your custom codes, okay, and you want to migrate to SAP S4 with minimum or no disruption. Okay, in that case, customers who are using SAP ERP 6.0 and above, they can be migrated to SAP S4HANA as a one single project in one single phase, in one single step. I'll tell you what. So SAP has provided the tools. One of the tool which SAP has provided is migration cockpit. What is migration cockpit? Migration cockpit means the set of programs which will allow us to migrate our current ECC to SAP S4. But that migration cockpit is only available for the customers who are using ERP 6.0 or above. This migration cockpit will not work directly on the clients who are not on 6.0 or who are below 6.0. So what is the solution for them? Does it mean that they cannot move to SAP S4? That is not the thing. The only thing is they need to perform two separate projects. Okay, the first project will be migrating from ECC 4.7 to 6.0, the traditional project that customers were doing. So let's say, for example, if I'm using 4.7, the first thing I need to do is I need to migrate my ECC to 6.0. Once I'm on 6.0, then only I can use the migration cockpit which is provided by SAP to move to SAP S4HANA. Okay, so this is one thing that you need to keep in mind, because if there are a lot of customers who are still using 4.7, okay, so for them, before they migrate to SAP S4, they need to perform a first project, that is from SAP ECC 4.7 to 6.0. Second question, this is a very favorite question when you go to customers. They ask you, currently we are not using HANA. We are using any third-party database. We are using SAP S, SQL, Oracle, whatever they are using currently. So if I'm not using HANA, will I have to perform one first project which will be migration to SAP HANA database? Okay, the answer to this question is, even if you are not using HANA database, okay, but if you are above ERP 6.0, in that case, you don't need to run a separate project, okay, for HANA, because SAP has provided a migration cockpit, as I told you, which will allow you to migrate to SAP S4HANA, and there is one option called as DMO option, database migration option, which not only allow you to move your application from ECC to SAP S4, but it will also make sure that the database conversion is also done during the process. Okay, so definitely you need HANA. I'm not saying HANA is not required if you are moving to SAP S4HANA. Only thing is whether I should carry out this HANA upgradation as a separate project, or it can be done in the same process. So the answer is SAP has provided the option in which your application plus database both can be migrated at once. You don't need to carry out two separate projects. Now, still, if there are some big customers who are interested in first moving, they are interested in step-by-step approach. They don't want to move everything in one go. Let's say there is a very complicated landscape. So they still are open to move to SAP HANA first and then to SAP S4HANA. That is also not a problem. Okay, but there is no restriction from SAP that first you move on to SAP HANA and then only you can move to SAP S4. That is not a kind of restriction. Both the options are available. If the customer thinks first I should move my ECC to HANA database and then I'll move from ECC on HANA database to SAP S4HANA, that option is still available. On top of that, if the landscape is not very complicated and customer don't want to perform these two steps separately, they can use the option which is available from SAP, which is a migration cockpit with DMO approach, which will allow the customer to migrate to SAP S4HANA with HANA database in one single step. Okay, so these are the two important things that you need to consider whenever you are visiting any customer and they are telling you that, okay, what exactly is our current situation and what are the activities or what are the different projects that we need to run in order to move to SAP S4. Let me open the chat screen. I think there are some questions. Yes, I'll send you this link. Don't worry about that. Just give me a minute. Okay, I sent you this link via the chat screen. Please check. Okay, and save this link into your favorites. So not only 1610, 1511, as I told you, even after 1, 2, 3 years when SAP will come up with something new, you can go onto this link, you can select the particular version and it will give you the completely new documentation for that particular version. Okay, now this is, okay, Pradeep is asking the question, could you please briefly repeat the points on DMO? See, we are going to talk about the different conversion tools that SAP has provided. Okay, when we'll be starting with the conversion project, I'll give you the information on different tools, like some of the tools called as maintenance planner, pre-check reports, custom code analyzer, simplification database, and software update manager. What is software update manager? Software update manager is a tool which will be used by your technical consultants when they are performing the migration, from ECC to SAP S4. Now, using this software update manager, there is one new option which is available from SAP. So it is available for the customers who were not using HANA database in their initial version. So today, if a customer is, let's say, using ECC EHP 6 and on, let's say, any other database, in that case, there will be the question from the customer that before I migrate to SAP S4, is it important for me to carry out a separate project for moving to SAP HANA database? Okay, so the answer will be no, it is not necessary, although it can be done, that is not a problem, but SAP also provides the option. When you use software update manager, there is the option in software update manager with DMO and without DMO. With DMO means you also want to perform upgradation of your database, not only upgradation of your application, but you also want to perform the upgradation on your database. That is a DMO option that we are talking about. DMO stands for database migration option. So this is only applicable for the customers who are not using HANA database already in their current landscape and They don't want to perform additional project for that particular activity. They want to include both database as well as application migration in one go. So this DMO option will be suitable for them. Is it fine, Pradeep? Okay. Okay. So as I told you, I'm back onto this homepage for this help.sap.com, which is providing me the information and useful links for 1610 documentation. So in this, another important document is conversion guide, as I told you. So whatever we discuss now about the conversion, which systems are supported, which systems are not supported, what is two-step conversion process, what is DMO, all these things you will be able to get this in conversion document, conversion for on-premise 1610. This is only going to focus on the conversion project. In the simplification list, the first document that we have seen, it is talking about what has been changed. Okay, irrespective of whether you are implementing the new product or you are performing the conversion, this is simplification database or simplification list is only providing you the list of objects or list of functionalities which are impacted in SAP S4. This conversion guide, this is helping you out in case of conversion project. Okay, if the functionality has changed, what you need to do in order to accommodate that particular functionality in SAP S4. What are the tools that are provided by SAP which will help out you in the conversion project? What are the prerequisites? All these things you'll be able to get in conversion guide. Okay, so this is a conversion guide. Let me show you. Let me go to the system requirements first of all. Okay, so this is what we discussed, right? Supported start releases. So for one-step conversion, your system needs to be minimum release level. What is the minimum release level? As I told you, 6.0. It can be any HP, 0 to 8. Okay. So if you are already on 6.0 or above, these are all the versions which are above 6.0. So if you are already on SAP Business Suite, on HANA, if you are already running SAP Simple Finance, if you are already running another version of Simple Finance, or you are already running on SAP S4HANA 1605, in that case, all these things you can see they are above 6.0. So if you are above 6.0, you can migrate to SAP S4 in one step. If you are not, in that case, what is written in that case? Okay, you need to check where exactly that is written, but you will get information that for the other releases which are not highlighted here, you need to perform in two steps. First step will be to migrate at this stage, and second is from here you can move to SAP S4HANA. Okay, these are the tools as I talked about. Maintenance planner. We'll discuss this in more detail when we talk about the conversion project, but I just want to show you DMO option. See, conversion using software update manager, SUM, and in this database migration optional. Okay, if your source system is yet not running on SAP HANA database, use the database migration option, DMO, of software update manager to migrate your database during the conversion. Okay, so in one single project, you can do both database migration as well as application migration. Why this is optional? Because if you are already using HANA, then there is no use of this. Okay, because this is only used if you are not on HANA already. Okay, so this document is providing you both the information, not only the technical information, but also from the functional point of view, what your functionalities are changed and how they need to be adopted in SAP S4. Like for example, output management, which we are going to discuss, one of the things which is new in SAP S4. So if you are going to the conversion project, how this output management will be adopted in the new system. So this is giving you the complete information. The other functionalities also like Let me show you. Something wrong. This is not small document. This is a big document. This should be around 160 pages. It is just showing me 27 pages as of now. Maybe they divided this document into two parts. Okay, because 1511, as you can see, it is more than 160 pages. This 1610, I don't know why it is only 27 pages. Okay, so this document is only focusing on technical, but I'll tell you where exactly to find the functional content also. Okay, any questions about these two documents, how to download, what are the purpose of these two documents, how are you going to answer your customer in case of if they are asking the questions like if I'm not using HANA, if I'm on this version today, how can I migrate? Now coming to a very important question. So if you had no questions, I can talk further, one important update. Okay, let me complete this, then if you have questions, you can come back. So Raj asked this question that if my customer is asking, so today or maybe previously SAP has came up with 1511, now they came up with 1610, tomorrow they will come up with 1709. So whether to wait to start the journey on SAP S4HANA, because if we wait, we can get the most updated version of SAP S4, or to implement SAP today itself and whenever required, wait for the relevant release. So the answer to this will be, it depends upon which deployment option you are choosing. If you are choosing SAP cloud option, okay, if you are going with cloud, whatever you implement today, let's say for example, today if SAP is already on, I think 1705 or 6, okay, in terms of cloud. So if you are implementing 1706 today, as I told you, every quarterly there are upgrades available. Now in case of cloud, these upgrades are made by SAP only, okay, and you don't need to worry about that, those upgrades, and they are mandatory. Okay, so tomorrow if SAP comes up with 1710 on cloud, you cannot say, oh, I don't want to implement 1710, I am happy with 1707, because in case of cloud, whatever new upgrades will be coming from SAP, they are mandatory for each and every customer. Okay, in case of public cloud, because as I told you, public cloud is what? Public cloud means multiple customers are using the same instance of SAP. So in that case, you don't have the control. Okay, if any new version comes, it has to be installed. It has to be upgraded on each and every cloud version. Okay, so in that case, there is no point in waiting for the customer. They can realize the benefits whatever are available today, and tomorrow also they don't need to worry, because whatever new functionalities will come, they will be automatically upgraded to their system. In case of on-premise, if customer is saying today if I go with 1610 and then I want to go with 1709, how much effort is required? Okay, so if you are already on 1610, when you are migrating to 1709 or 1710, whatever the upgrade is coming, so you don't need to again perform the complete project, because you are already done with lot of architectural changes. You are already with HANA database, you are already with new core SAP S4 core system. So it is just like a small upgrade of EHP6 to EHP7, not more than that. Okay, so again, if you are on premise, you can decide. So it is not necessary that whatever new features will come in 1709, they may be relevant to each and every customer. So if the customer is only using core modules, for example, they are not using, just for example, CRM, SRM, and all other features which are available in 1709 on top of 1610. So in that case, customer has a choice whether they want to perform the upgrade or not. Okay, so in case of on-premise, customer has a choice whether they want to perform the upgrade or not, and it is whatever new upgrades will come. Okay, they are not very big projects. They are the projects like when you migrate from EHP 5 to EHP 6 or EHP 6 to EHP 7. So there is no point in waiting. If the customer wants to realize the benefits, they should realize as soon as possible. So they can start their journey to SAP S4HANA as soon as possible. Another important thing, again, these are the questions from customers. So if the customers are saying we want to start with SAP S4HANA, but we have a very complicated landscape. Okay, so there are some kind of SAP S4HANA projects which takes up to 2 years to implement. Okay, so in that case, if the customer is asking, at least I want to start, okay, I want to start the journey. So there are many small projects also going on in market, which means if customer has still not decided whether they want to, let's say for example, when are they going to implement SAP S4HANA, but they know that yes, there are benefits of SAP S4HANA, may not be today. If I am a company where I cannot see much of the benefits today, definitely there are benefits, but not of that much importance to me. But if I see tomorrow, definitely at least I want to be prepared for that. Okay, so instead of waiting completely for implementing SAP S4HANA, at least the other things which I can start today itself, like migration of SAP HANA database, okay, migrating to, if you are not using, let's say, uh, if we are using classic GL accounting today, migration to new GL accounting. So these are some of the prerequisites of moving to SAP S4. So at least if I'm not going to SAP S4, let be ready. Okay, don't wait till the time I want to implement SAP S4. At least be ready with SAP HANA database, other prerequisites which are required by SAP. For example, if I'm using 4.7, I still not decided whether I'll go for SAP S4 HANA or not. But I'm 100% sure, let's say after 1 year, 2 year, definitely I need to migrate to SAP S4. So as a preparatory step, at least I can start a project to migrate to, let's say, SAP ECC 6.0 with HANA database. Okay, so that is also something which you can convince to your customer that, okay, maybe if you want to wait for SAP S4HANA, at least make sure that you are ready. Whenever you want to implement, you don't need to perform two kind of projects. At least go with the upgradation of your ECC, or if you are already on ECC, go with upgradation of HANA database, at least get started. Okay, because anyways the effort, the time will be required even if you go for SAP S4HANA later on also. So you can divide that time starting from now. So that are the kind of projects which are going on in the market as of today. Customers who are using 4.7, they already started their project on 6.0 on HANA database just to be ready for SAP S4HANA. So Raj and others, have you got the answers to all your questions that comes from the customers?
Yeah, a little bit. I've got a kind of a very high level insight, but I think we will have to go through entire this documentation and have a better understanding, because this is very sensitive and a typical thing where we need to convince customer. In order to convince customer, I guess we need to have a very clear picture in our mind. We need to understand how ECC 6 works, how SAP is going to, SAP S4 HANA is going to work and benefit them, all that. So yeah, I think probably this is a source for us. We need to really study, understand, then maybe we can talk. But a kind of idea we got with your explanation, I guess.
Yes, right. So anyways, we are going to discuss all these things in detail. Like when we are talking about simplification list, I just provided you the information that you can take this whenever you are in like whenever you want to take some decision, like what has been changed and all. But anyways, as I told you, from the core modules point of view, each and every activity, whatever is mentioned in simplification list, we are going to discuss about that. So maybe you need to wait for some more time till you get the complete insights.
Okay.
Even the conversion, as I told you, I just give you the brief introduction of what exactly is conversion, what are the prerequisites, and there are DMO options. But what are maintenance planner, what are pre-check reports, what is the impact on the custom code analyzer, all these things we are going to talk in detail.
Okay.
Okay, anything else related to our theoretical session today? I think this has added the value because this is something which is very important. Like you need to go through these documentations and then only you will come up with a lot of questions, because last time I took the business partner session, but I was expecting some questions today. Maybe you have not gone through this document. If you go through this document, there may be some line, there may be some point which you want to clarify.
Guru, Sandeep here, Guru. I have a quick question.
Yes, Sandeep.
Yeah. Actually, like I am looking for some, information on certification on this Simple Logistics. So, do we have a certification on, because when we check online, or people say that S4HANA certification, but I just want specifically what is the version you would recommend to do a certification?
Sandeep, can I park your question as of now, because let me complete the topics related question, and then towards the end, once everybody is done, we'll talk about that.
Sure, that helps.
Any questions related to the topics or the things which we have seen today, or maybe any questions related to previous sessions? Because I don't want to start the new topic today. We need to start with, it will take time. So any questions today? Otherwise we can close today and we'll meet tomorrow with the practical session.
Gaurav,
Yes.
what is the approximate timeline for a database upgrade and an application upgrade? Approximate. I know companies are different sizes. Going to SAP S4HANA, typical.
Are you talking about the downtime?
Not the downtime, like the database upgrade from a traditional like an Oracle database to HANA. That's one project. And then gone to S4HANA whole application.
See, these timelines depends upon the level of criticality, level of how many processes are available in their current ECC system, how many systems are involved. So there is not any straightforward answer for that, but see, it depends. It can be around 8 months to 2 years. There are some customers who are implementing SAP S4HANA and their roadmap is for next 2 or 3 years. So all kind of this is possible. It depends upon how many systems are involved, how many processes are involved, how much complicated is their current system. All these things are the factors to the project. But if you're talking about the downtime, which is very important for the customer to understand. So downtime can be, again, it depends on, if you talk from the database migration point of view, it can be as less as 6 hours to, again, depending upon the data, it may be 18, 20 hours, not more than that in case of database migration. And in case of application migration also, SAP has provided, again, some tools which they are saying it is near zero downtime. Okay, so we'll talk about that during the conversion, but there is no straightforward answer. Even if I ask you ECC today, how much time do you need to implement ECC system? So there is no straightforward answer. In case of very basic configuration, you can complete it in the 4 months, but some of the projects, they carry on for 2.5 or 3 years. So no straightforward answer.
Okay. Thank you.
Gaurav, Sandeep here. In there are the situations where clients has the most of complicated Z programs. Will that be any situation that that would not be get conversions of those programs from DCC to S4HANA? And will be SAP recommend when the new S4HANA is getting implemented to change the functionalities, or as is whatever the current client will have that can be moved on?
No. Can you just repeat? Sorry. Are you talking about the new implementation scenario or conversion?
Conversion. In the conversion process, so if the client has a lot of Z programs which is specific to their business functionalities, so in those situations, if the S4 HANA does not have those conversions, or they might use a different tools from the external systems. So will those conversions also be part of taken care over here in the conversion process, or will that be SAP HANA, SAP will be recommending any other?
No. SAP has provided the tools, but as I told you, we'll be discussing about that in the conversion process. But since you asked the question, let me show you this. Okay, so this is the area which you're talking about. Okay, it may not be complete information is given here, but let me what exactly will be done in case of conversion. So let's say in your current ECC system, you have a lot of custom codes. Can you just mute yourself? Who's that? Sorry. Yeah, thank you. So in your current ECC system, if you have a lot of custom codes, let's say if I'm a customer and I'm using SAP from last 10 years, and over these years, I invested a lot of amount, effort, everything on creating some customized or Z programs, Z tables, Z reports, Z forms, lot of activities or lot of effort has been invested in creating these things. Now, if I'm planning to move to SAP S4, obviously I want that most of the things which were available to me as a Z objects, either they are already supported in SAP S4, which means no need of any Z programs now, or if not supported, at least I should be able to use the programs as I was using in ECC. Okay, definitely customer will ask for this. Now, in order to achieve this, SAP has provided a tool called as custom code analyzer, or it is also called as simplification database. Okay, what is the purpose of this tool is, it will scan your system and it will find out how many custom codes are available totally. Okay, so it includes all the custom codes. Wherever you have changed the standard logic in the system, all that things will be listed, and out of that, it will also tell you whether these custom codes will be used as it is in SAP S4, or they will not be able to use them because there is change in the architecture. And if there is a change in the architecture, again it will tell you like what adjustment you need to make to that code to work in SAP S4. Okay, not only that, so let's say for example, there are 100 objects which are identified by custom code analyzer that these are the 100 objects available in your current system. Out of this 100 objects, system is telling you, okay, this 70 will work as it is, while this 30, there is a problem because there is some change in the architecture. So this 30 needs to be adjusted. Now, in order to take a decision whether all these 30 are, there is a effort required to make all these 30 work, or we can skip some of the objects. So in order to know that, in order to know whether these 30 objects are really required or they were just created in ECC and nobody was using them, and also to identify the criticality. So let's say out of 30 objects, okay, only 10 are actually used, 20 were not used at all. So that analysis also this custom code analyzer will provide you. It will tell you how much frequently these objects are used. Okay, so you can take a quick decision whether, okay, these 20 objects are anyways not used. So there is no reason to unnecessarily give more time to those objects. We should concentrate only on the 10 objects. Now on that 10 objects, again, which object should be critical and which object should be, okay, it can be done at the last stage. Again, that information can be gathered from the frequency. Okay, so which object is being used, whether it is used monthly or yearly or weekly or daily. Okay, all that things can be analyzed and you can decide on the priority, like where should be more focus on. So this kind of complete analysis is provided by SAP just to make sure that your custom codes are taken over to the new SAP S4HANA system.
Thank you.
Hey Gaurav, this is Suresh here.
Yes, Suresh.
Yeah. See, if a customer is going to have a ECC and if they're going to have an EWM or APO, so the existing landscape is that they have a different database for EWM and APO. So assume that if they're going to convert to S4, what happens to this interface? Because now at present all functionality is not there in S4, because only few functionalities there in S4. And if they're going to do that, what happens to the interface? Do you need to still have the interface with the EWM and APO? Like it's again the core interface, which happens now.
Yes, Suresh. So as of now, let's say for example, you are using ECC and you are using EWM. Yeah. Now, in EWM, let's say you are using 10 functionalities. Okay, I'm just giving you the example. You are using 10 features of EWM. Okay. Out of that, for example, 1610, I don't think there are more than 2 or 3 features which are already available in the core system. So in SAP S4 core system, you are getting only 3 features, while the remaining 7 features, it is only available in the separate decentralized EWM component, right? So in that case, you still have the option. Okay, you can, the same interface can work. Even you don't need to create the new interface, the same interface, because when we are as SAP S4.
Okay.
Again, when you are talking about the interface, now if this interface is also affected because of some architectural changes, then you may need to perform some adjustment to this interface also. But otherwise, it can work as it is.
Okay. Then. See, assume that if the customer says that I'm going to go with S4HANA now, and maybe I'm going to have a WM, which is going to be an ECC. Maybe at the later stage, I will go with the EWM. If the functionality in S4HANA, if they're going to get more functionality, then I'm going to go with the, I'm going to use that specific module for the WM. Until then, I'm going to use an ECC WM. If the customer is going to ask like that, what would you suggest?
To say the current WM functionalities?
Yeah, they're going to have it now. Whatever the ECC WM functionality, they want to maintain that. And for the other modules
that are still available. Yes. So they are still available. The WM functionalities, they are still available, but they are not considered in the future releases. So today, if you are talking from 1610 point of view, WM is still available. But going forward, when EWM will be embedded, then WM will be completely out.
Right. So what you mean to say that my understanding is that say all the functionality of WM, it is still there in S4, and maybe only in future they're going to have this EWM functionalities. Is that right? My understanding is right, Gaurav?
Yes. So I'll tell you the changes from WM and EWM point of view. So WM is, as you, when you talk about ECC, there are 2 different things. One is WM and another is EWM. So if the basic functionalities, they are directly available in your core component, ERP core component, which is WM. And if you want some additional features, then you go for EWM component, which is available as a separate box. Now, the target of SAP is, in SAP S4HANA, they are trying to bring EWM also into the core system, and they are going to remove WM completely, because you are getting advanced features of EWM directly in the core component. There is no need of WM component, right? But till SAP comes up with entire EWM functionalities in the same core system, WM is still available. Okay, right. At the same time, this is like the activity is already started. So some of the EWM features, they are already available in 1610 as of today also. Okay, very basic features. Okay, but WM will still continue to work till the time all the features are not coming in the single core system.
Okay, okay then. Right. And again about this MRP live and again about this forecast, is it all included in S4? Is there maybe the additional features are there in S4, but is it that because some of the customers, they say that they want this ERP, I think they try to implement later, not the MRP, they try to implement later because there were talks on that. But is there, see the core system, the MRP live is there, right? Just wanted to confirm that.
Yes. MRP live is very much available in the core system.
And any major changes on forecast?
Forecast, APO is something which is planned to be replaced by IBP, but that will take time. Okay, so that impact will come, but not as of today. As of today, forecasting is still available in the same way.
So planning, flexible planning, all those structures, infrastructures, all those are still there.
Yes.
Like which starts with the MC, the whatever what do you call the planning, the forecast planning, something the T codes which starts with the MC, all are there still, right?
Yes. We are going to talk about them in detail in the MRP session. So maybe you can park your questions till that time, but very soon you will be getting the answers.
Okay, that is it from me. Gaurav, thanks for the reply. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so tomorrow we'll talk about the practical session on procure to pay. Okay, so if you have time, you can go through the simplification list. Okay, that will prepare you to ask relevant questions. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to start with creation of purchase requisition. Okay, converting purchase requisition into purchase order, then obviously MIGO, and finally Miro. I don't think that is important because there is no change in that. But in MIGO itself, very important activity that you will find is material ledger. Okay, the way in which you were able to do the MIGO without activating the material ledger, that is no more available. So that is one thing that we'll focus on. And second thing, we'll focus on the output determination, which is when you create a purchase order, the way in which you were configuring or determining the purchase order output, that has been changed. Okay, so NACE is replaced by BRF plus, but we'll talk in detail. So there are some exceptions to that also. Okay, so these are some of the things that we'll discuss tomorrow. If you find time, we just go through the simplification list to prepare yourself for the questions. Another last thing before we close.
Gaurav, Sandeep here. You said.
Yeah, just a minute. There is one question on the chat screen. Yes, you will be getting the recordings. No need to worry. Yeah, go ahead with your question.
The certification codes you asked me to park the question till end of the session.
Yes. I'm coming to it. I'm just closing this and then I'll answer your question. Okay. Any questions before I come to the last thing, which is out of this current discussion?
Yeah, hi Guru, Vivek here. I have a question. So last time, like even now also we discussed like for on-premises implementation, SAP come up with, and I mean SAP provides release yearly basis the new versions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but in case of it is on cloud, the patches comes in every quarterly basis. So
right.
why it is not possible for SAP to release all the specification in one shot for the cloud version?
All the specification in one shot for cloud version. You mean to say yearly for cloud also?
Yes.
No,
like,
it is.
Like this. Yeah.
See, it is like if I see, if the new features are already available, why they should ask customers to wait for the complete year end to implement that features? Because this development is going on day-to-day basis. If they are able to develop some new features which can be, let's say for example, forget about very advanced functionalities. Let's talk about Fiori apps. So they developed some, let's say 15 to 20 apps in the quarter Why they ask the customers to wait till next year to implement those Fiori apps? Okay, that can be easily available to them within the 3 months time. So that is the reason they are focusing on that. In case of on-premise, that cannot be done. Why? Because customers will again complain then. Every 3 months you are asking us to perform the upgrades and all. That is the reason they are restricting on-premise. But in case of on-cloud, because there is no customer involvement in that, it is something which is done by SAP, which is managed by SAP, so they can very easily do.
Okay, so is there any difference like whenever SAP is releasing some parts in quarterly basis and whenever it is giving for 1 year in on-premises basis? Is there any different specification, or that will be same?
Might be little bit different in case of, let's say for example, guided configuration, or maybe let's talk about some of the Fiori apps can be different. But functionality, if you talk about the core functionality, there is no change. Functionality will remain same.
Okay.
So whenever, let's say for example, today if on-premise 1610 is available, so this will be completely matching with 1611 in terms of the functionalities.
Okay.
So Gaurav, quarterly upgrades on the cloud, would that stay ahead of on-premise?
Yes, definitely. So as I told you, 1610, when 1610 was launched, now whatever new things you are expecting, they are expected in 1709. But when 1611 was launched in cloud, after that 1702 was already released. So maybe there are some advanced features compared to 1610 on cloud.
The cloud does stay ahead of on-premise.
Yes.
But did you also say in the beginning that cloud features are limited?
Sorry, cloud?
Features or functionalities, what clients use is limited?
Sorry, your voice is not clear.
Is it full-fledged functionality available on the cloud similar to on-premise?
Yes, full-fledged. See, only difference is in case of cloud, you don't have control, one thing, and second thing is base business practices are only implemented in cloud, okay, without much of customizations. If you are expecting lot of customizations, in that case, cloud is not something which is suitable. I'm talking about the public cloud. Maybe if you are going for private cloud, then you have the flexibility to change according to your customizations. But in case of public, normally when we talk about cloud, it is normally the public cloud, because private cloud is no more different than the on-premise. It is only the terminology, but when we talk about cloud, it is only the public cloud. So public cloud restricts you from doing any kind of customizations, okay, because that is being shared by multiple customers. That is the difference between cloud. But otherwise, if you talk about the functionality point of view, functionalities are same. If you talk about the standard functionalities, they are same in on-premise and on cloud.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay, coming to Sandeep's question on certification. So Sandeep, the certification exam, I still don't think it is available. Okay, but the courses are already available. Courses in the sense, if you are, let's say, if you want to know what has been changed from S4HANA point of view relevant to procurement, or relevant to sales, or relevant to manufacturing, or maybe if you are a sales guy and just want to know what is S4HANA. So SAP provides different online and classroom sessions. So it is first course is Introduction to SAP S4HANA, which will provide you the complete introduction, which includes what is HANA, what is Fiori, what are the new things in SAP S4HANA. Then the course is available for procurement, which will talk about the innovations which are available in procurement compared to ECC. Then sales, again there is innovation course available for sales, innovation course for manufacturing. So when SAP, I don't know whether today they changed something, but when I checked last time, SAP, they were talking about the certification. So all this were the part of that certification exam. Okay, the exam is still not available, but the certification path, what they say is what will be included when the logistics exam will be available. So they are talking about all these courses. Okay, so that is something which we are concentrating on 1610. So related to 1610, S4HANA introduction, innovations in procurement, innovations in sales and distribution, and innovations in manufacturing. This is what we are going to focus in this course.
This is Saji. I have a question.
Yeah.
My client is planning to implement HANA, SAP HANA, not S4 HANA. So the conversion and everything is only relevant for S4 HANA, right? Because in the case of HANA implementation, it's only the database level. There is no conversion or anything, right?
That is database conversion, not this conversion that we are discussing.
Oh, okay.
Just for example, if you are moving to SAP HANA, there will not be any impact on your custom code. Okay, so there is no point in custom code migration and all these things which we are discussing. But at the same time, when you are talking about HANA upgradation or HANA migration, again there are some prerequisites. Like for example, you cannot directly upgrade to SAP HANA on any ECC version. I think it is only EHP 7 and EHP 8 which supports SAP HANA database, right? So there are some prerequisites, there are some other things to check from the HANA point of view, but they are definitely not something which is same as SAP S4HANA.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, so today we'll close early. We'll start, as I told you, the practical session tomorrow, and help you understand and ask the relevant questions. Okay, thank you. Bye.